organization loves to say the same thing. We're data-driven. And on the surface, it sounds convincing. There are dashboards. There are weekly reports. There are KPI review meetings. But if we're being honest, a lot of that is theater. Because having data is not the same as using data. And having BI tools is not the same as having BI maturity.
Today we're going to talk about something that quietly determines whether your BI program becomes a strategic advantage or a permanent frustration. The BI maturity ladder. 5 levels. 1 clear direction. From basic reporting all the way to true decision intelligence. And here's the uncomfortable part. Most organizations never reach the top, and many don't even realize they're stuck. I'm Nakel Ethan Nakima, and welcome to the BI channel, where data meets decisions. My goal on this show is simple. Executive-level clarity on the systems, structures, and capabilities that make business intelligence actually work. Not in theory. In real organizations, with real constraints, real politics, and real deadlines. This episode is a map. It helps you locate where your organization truly is today, not where you hope it is. And it gives you a practical view of what it actually takes to climb. Let's start with why BI maturity matters, globally. Because this isn't just a technical conversation, and it's not only relevant for large enterprises. BI maturity affects how fast decisions are made, how accurate those decisions are, and how confidently leaders can respond when markets shift. It determines whether performance conversations are grounded in facts or driven by opinions. And increasingly, it determines how realistic your AI ambitions are. Because AI doesn't run on wishful thinking. AI runs on reliable data, consistent definitions, and repeatable processes. In other words, maturity is the difference between we have dashboards and we run the business with intelligence. And one key point before we climb the ladder, maturity is not about buying better tools. Tools can help, absolutely. But the core of maturity is capability, culture, and consistency. It's governance. It's ownership. It's trust. It's whether people actually change their behavior because of what the data says. So, let's walk the BI maturity ladder, level by level. Level 1 is reactive reporting. This is where many organizations begin, and honestly, where many stay for years. The environment is dominated by manual reporting, spreadsheets, ad hoc queries, recurring requests sent to one data person or a busy BI team. Reporting is mostly backward-looking. The question is always some version of what happened, and usually asked too late to do anything meaningful about it. At level 1, you'll notice a few common symptoms. Data arrives late. Reports don't match across teams. 2 departments present 2 different numbers for the same KPI in the same meeting. And decisions don't really rely on the data anyway, because leaders don't trust it. So they fall back on intuition, experience, and whoever argues most convincingly. If you're listening and thinking, that sounds familiar, here's the reality. Level 1 isn't a failure. It's a starting point. The problem is when it becomes the norm and the organization calls that data-driven. Level 2 is descriptive dashboards. This is usually the stage where an organization starts investing in visualization tools and centralized dashboards. On paper, it looks like progress. And it is progress. But adoption is inconsistent, and impact is often limited. At level 2, dashboards exist, but behavior hasn't changed. Teams may check metrics, but they don't operationalize them. There's often dashboard overload, too many pages, too many charts, too many nice-to-have views, and not enough focus on decisions. Usage stays low because the dashboards don't feel essential. And if governance is weak, definitions still vary. Marketing has its definition of a qualified lead, sales has its definition, finance has a third definition, and the dashboard becomes the battleground rather than the solution. So level 2 can feel like you've modernized BI. But if no one trusts the numbers or acts on them, you've mostly modernized reporting, not decision-making. Level 3 is integrated BI systems. This is the turning point. This is where BI starts to become reliable, scalable, and truly valuable. At this level, the organization begins to do the unglamorous work: governance, data quality, ownership, and standardization. Here you start to see clear definitions and consistent KPIs. A data catalog or documented metric layer begins to exist, even if it's not perfect. Data stewards or owners are identified, so someone is accountable when the numbers are wrong or when definitions drift. Data pipelines become more standardized. And most importantly, trust begins to form. Level 3 is where people stop asking, "Is this number real?" and start asking, "What do we do about it?" That shift is massive. Because without trust, BI is just noise. With trust, BI becomes a shared language. Level 4 is predictive and prescriptive analytics. Now we move beyond describing the past into shaping the future. At this stage, organizations start building forecasting models, doing scenario analysis, and using more advanced analytics to answer questions like, what is likely to happen next? And what action should we take? This is where AI and machine learning start to show up in practical ways, not as buzzwords. Automated insights can highlight anomalies. Forecasts can estimate demand, churn, risk, or supply chain disruptions. Teams might use AI copilots to explore data faster, generate analysis ideas, or explain trends. The organization begins to shift from static dashboards to dynamic decision support. But Level 4 has a hidden requirement. Level 4 depends on Level 3. If you don't have governance, quality, and consistency, predictive models become expensive guessing machines. Advanced analytics doesn't fix messy foundations. It magnifies them. Level 5 is decision intelligence. This is the top of the ladder, and it's where BI stops being a department and becomes an organizational system. At Level 5, BI, AI, and human judgment work together in a structured way. Decisions are not just made, they are designed, measured, improved, and repeated. What does that look like in practice? Insights are embedded in workflows, not trapped in a dashboard someone might check once a month. AI supports every role, not just analysts. Decision-making is measurable, meaning the organization can evaluate decision quality, decision speed, and decision outcomes. And BI isn't just reporting on strategy after the fact. BI shapes strategy from the start. This is why only a small percentage of organizations reach Level 5. It requires more than technology. It requires alignment across teams, clarity on decision rights, strong operating rhythms, and the discipline to treat decisions as assets. Now, if the latter is clear, the next question is obvious. Why do so many organizations get stuck? Why do they hover around levels 1 and 2, sometimes for a decade? Barrier number 1 is cultural resistance. This one is underestimated because leaders often assume the problem is technical. But culture is the difference between "we have metrics" and "we follow metrics." People trust their experience. They trust their instincts. And sometimes they trust their politics. If the organization rewards confidence more than correctness, dashboards won't change behavior. If leaders only ask for data when they want to defend a decision they've already made, BI becomes a weapon, not a guide. Maturity stalls when the culture treats data as optional. Barrier number 2 is lack of governance. Governance sounds boring, so it gets postponed. But without governance, data becomes unreliable. And unreliable data kills adoption faster than anything else. If definitions aren't clear, every report becomes negotiable. If ownership isn't assigned, issues never get resolved. If quality isn't monitored, trust erodes quietly until one day people stop using BI and no one even announces it. They just go back to spreadsheets and side conversations. Barrier number 3 is tool-first thinking. This is the classic trap. The organization buys a platform and expects maturity to arrive with the license. But tools don't create maturity. People do. Processes do. Accountability does. Training does. If you invest heavily in software but you don't invest in data literacy, governance, and workflow integration, you've built a beautiful dashboard museum. People can visit, admire the visuals, and then go back to making decisions the old way. So how do you actually move up the ladder? First, Define a BI vision that is directly tied to business strategy. Not, we want better reporting, but we want faster pricing decisions, or we want to reduce churn, or we want to improve supply planning. Maturity accelerates when BI is connected to decisions that matter. Second, build governance before you scale dashboards. That doesn't mean you need a massive committee. It means you need clarity. Who owns each KPI? What is the definition? Where is the source of truth? What process exists when there's a discrepancy? Governance is how you protect trust. Third, train people for interpretation, not just tool usage. Clicking buttons is easy. Understanding what a metric means, what might be driving it, what bias might exist, and what action to take, that's the skill that changes an organization. Fourth, embed BI into workflows. If insight lives outside the work, it won't change the work. Bring metrics into operational meetings, frontline systems, and everyday tools. Make the data moment part of the process, not an extra step. Fifth, measure BI adoption like a KPI. If it matters, track it. Usage, engagement, decision cycle time, reduction in manual reporting, consistency of KPI definitions, these are maturity signals. If leadership never measures adoption, adoption rarely improves. Sixth, introduce AI gradually, tied to real use cases. Don't start with, we need AI. Start with, which decision is expensive, frequent, and currently made with uncertainty? Then apply AI where it can reliably improve speed or quality. Let results create momentum. And finally, create BI champions in every department. One centralized team cannot drive maturity alone. You need business-side advocates who understand the domain, support adoption, and help translate between operational reality and data structure. If you want one sentence to summarize the journey, it's this: BI maturity is not a technology upgrade. It's an organizational transformation. Let's land on a few key takeaways. BI maturity is a leading indicator of BI success. It determines how fast and how well your organization makes decisions. Most organizations are stuck at levels 1 or 2, even when they have modern tools. The BI maturity ladder gives you a clearer, more honest mirror. Not, do we have dashboards? But, do we make better decisions because of them? And moving upward takes governance, culture, and capability, not another tool purchase. The destination, ultimately, is level 5. Decision intelligence, where insight is embedded, decisions are measurable, and BI drives strategy.
If today's episode helped you see where your organization sits on the BI maturity ladder, follow the BI channel for more insights on BI, AI, and decision intelligence across global markets. And share this conversation with your leadership team, especially the people shaping your BI roadmap. The BI channel, where data meets decisions.